Happy Tuesday, everyone. I am back with another video to help you with your job search, help you advance your career, get the pay that you deserve, and just win it out there in this job search game. If you're looking to advance your career, promote to the next level, or increase your pay by $5,000 to $10,000 annually, then Careerspresso, my company, is the company that you want to partner with. Speaking of partnerships, I have recently partnered with a firm in Sezzle to offer a variety of financing plans to choose from that should fit anyone's budget. So if you have any questions after this video or any of the other videos that I put out on a daily basis, almost daily basis, then feel free to reach out to me via Messenger. This is my full-time job. This is what I do, so I'm here for you. Today I'm going to be talking about how to handle a video job interview. So I think it probably comes as no surprise that video job interviews have become the norm since the onset of the stay-at-home order, which has since been lifted, but both due to global pandemics caused by COVID-19 and just the fact that a lot of businesses have sent their own staff to work from home. Now that they're ramping back up and conducting interviews and staffing for open positions, a lot of companies are still conducting video interviews. And so I thought I'd create this for you to help you get through that. 2012 survey by the staffing agency Office Team, which you may have heard of, found that 66.7% of human resource managers say they often use video interviews in the hiring process. And this was prior, obviously 2012, prior to COVID-19. In 2020, that number has increased an additional 19.3%, bringing the total to a whopping 86%. 86% of employers now conduct video interviews when they're staffing to fill, when they're sourcing to fill their positions, their open positions. So, while with that said, the studies have also shown that companies and job candidates rate each other lower than when they meet face to face. And it might just be because most people aren't used to interacting via video or not as comfortable as maybe they might be nowadays. So maybe this number will change over time, but like any technology, the method has both pros and cons, right? So you want to use the following suggestions to make the most of your next video job interview. The advantages of a video interview are one, that it saves money, and the video interview can eliminate travel expenses for both you and the company you're interviewing with. You also use less of your personal time, right? Number two, it speeds up the process. You may get a job offer more quickly. So companies use video technology to avoid delays in coordinating travel schedules for multiple people. So it could speed up the hiring process. Number three, it demonstrates your technology skills. So if you invest in good quality equipment, such as a good webcam and a microphone, you would be ensuring that all of the basic features of the meeting service you'll be using will serve both you and the company well, right? So it also impresses your interviewer by being well prepared and showing that you're tech savvy. Steps to take before your video interview might look like the following. You want to get formal training, right? So you want to talk with a career coach if you think you require further assistance to put your best face forward, so to speak, in video interviews. If you're a student, then the Career Development Office at your university may help with by offering other services, okay? Rehearse thoroughly. Practice, practice, practice. We've all heard that practice makes perfect, and so maybe it doesn't make perfect, but it makes prepared, right? So you want to rehearse thoroughly, practice with family and friends to see how you look on webcam. And I highly recommend that you have a casual chat with someone immediately before your interview to give you a chance to warm up. And when I say have a casual chat with someone before your interview, I mean casual chat via interview with someone you know to help warm you up and to help you relax while you're on camera with the actual interviewer. So you want to identify someone who'd be more than willing to do that with you. And if you don't have anyone, friend or family member who can do that with you, you can always reach out to my company and one of us would be happy to coordinate something with you. Number 3, you want to dress up. Although you're at home and you're in your own environment, you don't want to be too casual or lax about this interview, right? You still need to present yourself professionally, and the best way that you can do that is to make sure that your appearance is on par with a face-to-face interview. So you want to make sure that you dress up, take a shower if it makes you feel better or makes you feel more awake. Put on your best suit just like you would for a live interview. It's acceptable to apply makeup a little more vividly for the camera, but not too heavy because you don't want it to appear unnatural, right? So you just want to use a little bit more than you would on an average day. You want to create a backdrop, something like what I've got going on here, but maybe not quite as busy as the bookshelf here, but you want to create an appealing backdrop in a corner or in a well-lit area. I have a ring light on here because I'm not near a window, but if you can park yourself near a window, either where the light is coming in from the side or you're facing the window and the light is hitting you directly, that's even better, right? You never want to sit with the window or the light source behind you because that'll put you in a dark silhouette. So those are just some tips for finding a space that's well lit and that works great for video conferencing and interviews. You want to arrange your lighting so that it's natural and doesn't have lines like from a blind or curtains or drapes, right? So be mindful of your surroundings, your environment, but not so much so that you overdo it. I think sparkles might be a little bit much, like I've got going on these videos. That's just me. I'm trying to find something that doesn't have sparkles on it, and I couldn't do it, so I decided to go ahead and use the sparkles. Don't use sparkles on your video interview, please. Number 6, the next tip I want to give you is to watch your body language. And this is going to be critical to your success. You want to make sure that you're sitting up straight because slouching makes you look depressed. You don't want to lean too far back because it says that you're disinterested in the conversation and or the position that you're applying for. And I have a tendency to use my hands a lot, so you want to, if you use your hands a lot too, you want to try to keep that to a minimum, or at least not in front of the camera like I often do, but keep it kind of low if you have a tendency to speak with your hands, right? You want to angle your body just a little bit to the side so that you're not square on to the camera, and I'm square on to my iPad right now because I'm recording on Facebook, as well as square on to my Android phone because I'm also recording on Instagram while I'm recording on Facebook. So do not sit square. You want to sit slightly at an angle in either direction, whichever you determine to be your best side, right? Okay, it looks less stiff than facing squarely in front of the camera during the interview, and you want to try to act naturally while maintaining a high level of professionalism. So here are some steps that you can take during the video interview now that we've got you all set up technically and you're dressed and you've practiced what you're going to say and you're ready to go. Steps to take during your video interview would be 1, to prepare for glitches, right? So one of the first things you want to do after introducing yourself, if you haven't met this person before, is ask the interviewer in advance what to do if you lose your connection. Do we have a plan B, in essence? What to do if we lose our connection to one another, right? It will reinforce the message that you're proactive, and you may be allowed to continue via audio only if the video problem does present itself and does persist and you can't get back on via video. So number 2, you want to make sure that you're making eye contact. And the way you do this in video, and it's something that I struggle with too, especially when I'm recording on multiple platforms, live on multiple platforms, is you want to be able to make eye contact with the interviewer. And the way you do that is not by looking at yourself like I'm doing right now in the mirror image of myself. You don't want to look at yourself. You actually want to look at the camera on your phone which makes it appears that you're actually looking at the interview if you look at the camera. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but if I look at the camera, it's supposed to appear that I'm making eye contact with the person on the other end. So you might want to practice that too beforehand if you need to, and record yourself to see how it actually goes before you actually get in the interview, the live interview. Make eye contact, look into the webcam, and if you're allowed to record so that you can critique yourself, not too harshly. I'm a little reluctant to say record yourself only because I think people can be hard on themselves and they might over-critique themselves and think, oh my gosh, I did so bad, I did so terrible. Why did I record myself? Why am I doing these interviews? Why am I whatever? My hair was out of place. I had something in my teeth. We're overcritical of ourselves, right? And so I'm reluctant to tell you to do that, but you need to be able to see what you actually look like in video to the person on the other end. So do it at least once, not every time, just once, just so you can kind of get a gist of things that you might need to change, right? The next thing I'm going to suggest that you do, is if you have trouble making eye contact with people in real life or on video, this is a trick I learned in high school speech. To look at the bridge of a person's nose right here rather than looking them in the eye, because it appears that you are looking them in the eye if you look at the bridge of the nose right there. You don't want to look at the tip of the nose because it does in fact look like you're looking at the tip of their nose if you do that, but you want to look at the bridge of their nose and it'll look like you're making eye contact with the person. So you might want to practice that too before you go live. You want to monitor your facial expressions. You want to look lively even while you're listening to someone else. You can nod in agreement to the interviewer and smile as you listen, but not too much, right? You don't want to be overexcited if the conversation isn't something that's terribly exciting at that moment, right? So try reducing your own video image and line it up near the webcam. And this is a trick I've done in business meetings with large groups of women, is I will slide it over right next to the camera and it appears that I am looking at everyone or the speaker when the speaker is speaking. You can do this so that it appears that you're inconspicuously not breaking eye contact, and you can make adjustments to your demeanor, because at the same time that you appear to be looking at the person speaking, you're actually taking a quick peek of yourself in that little thumbnail that's right next to the camera, right? And so you can make adjustments if you need to. Number 4, you want to minimize your note taking, okay? You may want to record the session like I mentioned before so you can avoid having to take extensive notes, but some interviewers won't give you permission to record the session, so that may not be an option for you. And if it's not, that's okay. You just want to jot down a couple of things that you might want to refer back to in a conversation later on, or in a second interview, or a follow-up conversation, right? Follow-up email. So memorize the questions you want to ask. And again, this will help you keep you from looking down a lot, right? If you must take notes or look at your questions, you want to do so as discreetly as possible, and only to make sure that you remain on task and don't forget anything, right? The last thing I'm going to suggest, well, it's almost the last thing, working on your closing. It's easy to get so excited that you lose track of the ordinary things you would, say at a traditional interview. Excuse me. But you want to remember to thank your interviewer and ask about the next stages in the process and when they expect to make a decision. If you don't ask for the position at some point during this conversation or in a follow-up, I mean, what's to say that I wouldn't offer the position to someone who's a little more proactive, or who expresses a little more of enthusiastic interest in working with me, right? So I'd like to tell my clients that if you can muster the courage to ask for the position in the end, then please do so. Ask, when do you expect this person to start? Oh, I'm available, in a week or 2 weeks. Do you expect this person to start on a Monday or a Tuesday? Or, you know what I mean? You can kind of work it into the conversation so that you're asking, but you're not asking too directly, okay? So with all that said, it's very likely that you may be meeting your next boss online. It's very likely these days. And it's natural to be a little camera shy, But strategic preparation will help you light up on the screen and in a video job interview, right? So you just have to prepare and practice. If you need more help preparing for your next interview, you can message me. CareerSpresso has paid courses, and we've partnered with Affirm and Sezzle to give you financing options to fit your budget. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.